All right, so in this video, we are going to be making homemade escabeche. Basically, that's homemade jalapeno that are pickled jalapenos that come in the cans with the onions and usually carrots and that. Follow me in this video, and I'm going to show you a really delicious way to make them. You can make them very simple, but I kick it up a little bit like I always do. Instead of using just a regular corn oil or just a regular oil, I use half and half of olive oil and half of an avocado oil. And see what I do to make these delicious, just wonderful pickled jalapenos. All right, so stay with me and let's see how we can make these at home, easy and delicious. Okay, so it is getting cold again outside, and I want to make something that's going to kind of warm up the house a little bit. I am going to make escabeche. Escabeche is basically pickled jalapenos with some vegetables in vinegar. And even though you can go to the store and buy them already pre-pickled, usually they're very soft and very mushy, which some people do like that texture. But I do make these fresh sometime. And right now I'm going to go ahead and whip up a little bit because sometimes it's really nice to have them, but when they have a little bit more of a crunch or a crisp. And I'm going to show you how to make them. My way of making them is just a little bit different. I kind of always tweak the recipes to what my husband likes and the flavor he likes. So there is a simple way to make them, but my way is just a little bit different, and it makes them taste extremely delicious. So what are you going to need? All right, so I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 jalapenos here. They're the bigger round ones. I do like doing this with the bigger jalapenos. Make sure you wash and rinse. Now you can use any kind of onion you want. Right now I'm using a white onion. A white onion is just a little bit more savory instead of sweet, but you can use whatever onion you like. In this recipe you'll see a lot of people using just the long regular carrots. I like using the baby carrots. They're a little more tender and cook and pickle a little bit better, where they're just a little bit softer but still have a good crunch. I have my whole cloves of garlic. I have Mexican oregano. I have my bay leaves or your hojas de laurel. I have my ground black pepper. I have my salt. And you can use just about any kind of oil that you want, you know, vegetable oil, you can use corn oil, whatever. I am actually using a split of 2 different oils. This is an olive oil and this is an avocado oil. So I'm going to do basically 2 tablespoons of olive oil and 2 tablespoons of avocado oil. They just give it a really good taste. Instead of just using a plain oil, they just kick up the flavor just a little bit. Now, most vinegar here is 5% vinegar, and that's very strong. So I do use white vinegar, and whenever I use vinegar, I cut it with the same amount of water. All right, so if I use a cup of vinegar, I'll use a cup of water. Now, I will use a majority of the white vinegar for this recipe, but I will also add just a dash of the apple cider vinegar, again, just to kick it up a notch. Not a whole lot, just a little bit. Okay, so what we are going to do, we are going to, and I'm going to use a bigger pot because I'm going to do a little bit of frying, and then I'm going to do boiling, okay? So 2 tablespoons of that and 2 tablespoons of this one. So 2 tablespoons of olive oil and 2 tablespoons of avocado oil. And again, you can use whatever you have, whatever you want to use. I I am going to grab a glove here because I'm going to be doing something with the jalapenos. And I actually like having a glove when I'm messing with jalapenos so I don't get the oils and all that stuff on my hands. I'm going to clean up my white onion real quick. Get everything off of it. Peel out the outer layer. And we're gonna get this thrown away real quick. I know you can do this with some other chilies also. I know some people will do this with chili serranos and that. So if you do want to do this, again, you can do it with just about any chili. So I'm just halving my white onion. I'm actually going to bring you over here so you can see what I'm doing a little bit better. Boop, there we go. Okay, so I'm halving my white onion, and I'm just going to make some thin, not really thick, just some thin slices. Because again, I want this to be able to absorb all these flavors, but I am actually going to fry this a little bit first before I start boiling it, so it releases all of those good and wonderful flavors. So I'm going to break it up a little bit, and then I'm going to do this one. Somebody's outside. My doggy alarms are going off. All right, so I have they're going crazy. What are they doing? I think the milk person already passed, so I am going to put the onions in the oil. And I know you can't see yet, but added the onions to the oil. And I'm going to let those cook just on a medium, so those can start releasing some wonderful flavor. And while those are cooking, I'm going to get the jalapenos ready to go in there too. Now, some people won't fry the jalapenos. Most of them will just boil them. But I actually have a way to prep my jalapenos, and I'll show you real quick. So, some people will leave on the stem. I don't. I always take the stems off. Now, to get a good pickling, some people will go and poke the jalapeno so that way the vinegar can penetrate. I don't do that. All I do is I'll make an X cut at the bottom of the jalapeno, and that way the vinegar and everything can saturate and pickle, and it'll get inside. So you, oh, let's see. So you see that? All I did was cut on one side and then cut the other side. And this is at the point. This isn't at where the stem is. So I just cut and cut. So that way the vinegar and the solution can penetrate and get in there. And also, whenever you get these jalapenos, whenever you take a bite of them, if it's not open here, the vinegar in that will just kind of like squirt all over the place. So it's good to have that open and cut. So I'm going to show you again, okay? Let's bring you a little bit over here. So we take off the stem. Again, some people will keep the stems on. So I am just going to slice straight down and then slice again. All right. So I'm going to do these real quick because these are going to go in there with the onion. And I'm going to fry them just a little bit. All right. Like I said, a lot of people won't fry them. They'll just put them in the vinegar. But I am going to take the extra step or two to take off of the stem and to go ahead and fry them up just a little bit. These ones I'm going to go ahead and throw. I don't want to use my other hand because I don't want to touch the jalapenos. I hate touching jalapenos whenever I'm messing with them because all of that oil and stuff on them gets in your fingers, and that when you rub your eyes, it burns really, really bad. So I'm just gonna, I guess I get this stem off and cut like this. And if you do want to use a toothpick or a fork or something to penetrate your jalapenos so that they are pickled, that's okay. I have seen people who also do not prick or slice their jalapenos at all, and they just do pickling. That's okay too. I mean, it just takes a little bit longer to pickle, but I have seen people who use the mason jars. I only use mason jars every once in a while. I don't really pickle these to have them on hand for a long time. I should pickle big batches and just kind of leave them because I do have a basement where I could prepare a lot of these and just leave them. Okay, so we're almost done here. Getting, oh, that's okay. All right, so I got all the jalapenos. Gotta go ahead and take off my glove. I'm gonna take you back over to the stove so you can see. So the onions are getting very, very soft now. They're still good and crispy, but these jalapenos are just getting a little bit of a cook, okay? Just a little bit. So I'm going to turn this down and just let all of that start releasing, you know, the jalapenos so they get that nice coating of oil on them. All right. Okay, so we're going to let that be there. And I am actually going to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 garlic also, and I'm going to put that in with my jalapenos and onions. So right now I have the onions, the prepared jalapenos, and 6 pieces of garlic. We're going to go in here. Now you can see the jalapenos are getting that really, really nice light color. So I am going to start getting my vinegar mixture ready. And with my vinegar mixture, like I said, I do more white vinegar than I do apple cider vinegar. So in here I have 1.5 cups, and then I'm just going to add 1/2 cup of apple cider vinegar to make it 2 cups. All right, and what I'm going to do next is I'm going to add 2 cups of water here. I'm going to add 2 cups of water. Nope, not that water. I'm going to add 2 cups of this water. And like I said, I don't use sink water whenever I'm cooking. So I didn't have any water ready whenever I was in this recipe. So I've got 1.5 cups of white vinegar, 1/2 cup of apple cider vinegar, which makes all the vinegar content 2 cups. And I'm adding 2 cups of water to dilute it. Okay? Now that goes into my pot. All right, so in here I have, again, the oil. I have 1 diced white onion. I have my 11 jalapenos cleaned and prepped, and I have 6 pieces of garlic. So, what else is going to go in here? Let's see. So, right now, I'm going to add about a tablespoon of oregano. Okay. And I'm going to add, depending on the size of the laurel leaves, let me see if I can find, well, they're all pretty small. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 5 smaller laurel leaves, very small. Got my oregano. I always have to put my spice names so I remember which ones are which, because some of them look the same. I am going to add just 1 tablespoon of salt. Soup spoon is what I've got, it's about a tablespoon. And black pepper. Yep. I'm going to try to make it about a teaspoon. About a teaspoon of black pepper. And again, my microwave oven is still broke. I have my new one coming, and it's going to take another 10-11 days before it gets here. It was on back order for a month. So I can't wait till I get it, because I miss cooking with my light and my exhaust oven. So that's just on a low. I don't want it really cooking anymore. I just want to make sure the heat stays. Clean up really, really quick, because you always want to clean as you go when you're cooking. Clean as you go. All right, I'm done with that. I'm done with that. I'm done with that. Salt, pepper, vinegar, all that's over there. All right, so now we're going to do the carrots. And again, if you want to use, excuse me, I'm going to get a drink real quick. If you want to use just the regular long carrots, you can. I just like using these baby carrots. To me, they're just a little bit more tender. They have a amazing taste. So let's make sure that you can see. But if you do want to pickle them and you want them a little bit spicy, you can always fry in 1 or 2 chile de árboles, and that'll definitely spice it up a little bit. Like I said, some people will put cauliflower in it, some other different vegetables, but I'm just, just playing with what I've got. Some people will make just jars of pickled onion, but I'm going to cut this last one in here, and we'll add it to the pot. So I got all my onions, or not my onions, my carrots cut up, and carrots are going in the pot. All right, so again, I do have this on low, and I'm gonna give it a good stir. And the jalapenos are starting to change color. I don't know if you can see, because in here, again, I don't have a really good light, but I am Gonna start turning that up so it comes to a boil. And I gotta get all these pieces of carrot picked up. Okay, so I went and got, I had got a light that I kind of forgot about that I can put on my phone so you can see. And that definitely helps with working around the stove. So right now I'm gonna go over what I have in here. I have 2 tablespoons of avocado oil, 2 tablespoons of olive oil. So that's 4 tablespoons of oil altogether. If you want to just use a regular vegetable oil, you can. I have 1 whole medium onion, white. You can use any other onions you want. Diced it up, fried it a little bit with the oil. I put in 6 pieces of garlic. I cleaned and took the stems off the jalapeños, and I made an X at the bottom of my jalapeños so that way they can absorb the, see how it's, I got an X at the end, the point, not the part where the stem is, so they can absorb the pickling, the vinegar. And then I put my spices in there. I've got my salt, my ground pepper, my oregano, my laurel leaves. The oregano I put in about a tablespoon. Laurel leaves, I've got I think 5 small leaves in here. Salt, 1 tablespoon. Pepper, 1 teaspoon. And then I diced up some baby carrots. If you want to use bigger carrots, you can. If you do want to make it spicy, you can also add 1 or 2 chile de árboles in here. That'll spice things up. If you also want to add some cauliflower or any other vegetables, you can do that too. So right now I'm bringing it back up to a boil. I want the jalapeños to change color from their darker green to that lime looking green. Let's see if I can see how the one side is darker at the bottom and then at the top is like a lighter green. So I'm just gonna let this cook for about 10-15 minutes and then I'll just let it sit on the stove again. And that's about it. It is pretty easy to make pickled jalapeños. And I don't have my mason jars right now, but what I am going to use to store them, just a plastic container. So I'm gonna let these cook for about 10-15 minutes and then I'm gonna let them set for about an hour, let them get chilled. And once they're chilled, I will put them in their containers and let them set for a day or 2. Let them get a really good pickling. And then, I mean, some people like to enjoy them fresh, and you can, but I like to give them a day or 2 so they can absorb more flavor and they'll still be nice and crunchy. They won't be totally mushy, but it just gives them a chance to, you know, set and just kind of get a little bit of time. All right, I'll be back. Okay, so I have everything here that's cooled down. And what I'm gonna do, I don't again have mason jars. So I am going to get these put in my plastic containers, and I'm probably gonna end up with, let's see if I can get 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. That one and that one. And I'm gonna get another container, so I'll have 3 containers, and one will just have a little bit more vegetables. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get all of this stuff over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this vegetable mixture first before I use any of the vinegar. And I think I'm actually going to probably get a strainer to help me out. So, a strainer spoon. There we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the vegetable mixture in here first. I want to use definitely as much of this as I can. And then as soon as I get the vegetable mixture in here, I will top off, which I'm going to pause real quick because I am going to get the rest of this vegetables in here, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got my vegetable mix in here, and I'm just going to kind of top off with the rest of my pickling liquid, and trying to do this with one hand, and I'm trying to make sure that I get everything, there we go, everything all filled up. So we got the jalapenos on the bottom, and those are going to be completely submerged. And then we have the rest of the vegetables on top. And I am going to just kind of let these cool just a little bit more, because they do still feel just slightly warm. So I don't want to put their lids on when they're still warm. I'm going to take a little bit out of that, so that way when I put my lid on, because my lids, let's see, my lids do kind of go down inside. So I don't want that to overflow, but I'm going to let these sit for just a little bit more, and I'm going to put their tops on them, and I'm going to let them sit for a day or two, and then they'll be ready to eat. You actually can serve them now if you want, but I always like to let them sit for a day or two. They don't have to sit in the refrigerator, they can just sit out. And there we go. Escabeche homemade. All right, so don't forget to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't. And let me know what you're thinking. What kind of recipe do you use? Do you add anything else? Do you take anything else away? But let me know. And with that, I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.